What's up, everybody? How you doing today? My name is Jason the Ape. Welcome to the Boring Show. Today we've got a special jailbird guest. That's right, we got Jailbird here with us today. It looks like you just broke out. How you doing?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm having a fun day. I was out with Dan Brown, head of security, all day, smoking weed in the park as we do before every show. Trying to participate in the cannabis culture. Big fans of it. But besides that, just hanging out. I see. Did you just break out, or did you just get bailed out?
I actually just broke out. On my
Uh,
way out, I found these gorgeous sunglasses and have been just rocking them since.
I love it, man. You got your style. You found something along the way to add to the jumpsuit, and that's a beautiful, beautiful outfit. I appreciate you. What's your story, Jailbird? Before you went to jail, or would you mind telling us what landed you in jail?
So, as you know, I'm in crypto, and being in crypto, we're all rebels. And being so rebellious gets you into a little bit of trouble, which is what got me in jail. So, landing in jail, getting myself into a little bit of trouble being in the crypto space. And now that I've broken out, I'm excited to be an ape on the loose.
I love that. An ape on the loose. That's kind of a fire slogan. That's kind of rad. I love it, Jailbird. So before we all understand. Sometimes you gotta do things to make a path in this world. I get it, sure. Where are you from before you ended up on the wrong side? Like what was your upbringing like as an ape?
Well, it was a very good upbringing. I had a whole lot of bananas growing up.
Lovely,
Um,
good protein.
stuff has lots of good solid protein. I don't know if bananas have that much protein, but lots of carbs, lots of energy. So it was great growing up with all the bananas. I grew up down in Miami, and now I'm out in California enjoying the sunshine.
That's amazing, man. And you're right. There's no protein in bananas. It's potassium, is what I meant to say.
Potassium. Yeah, they might have a little bit of protein. I think for fruits it might have like the most, but
Well, like if you eat the
as far as the
skin,
bananas
maybe.
go, potassium. Gotta get my potassium in.
Do you ever eat the skin of the banana?
Being a monkey, sometimes I do,
Yeah.
but in my normal life, I do not.
Interesting. All right, fair enough. I just always have to ask that question. So, we established that you had a really cool upbringing, but somewhere along the line, you became a rebel, as many of us are here in this space, and sometimes you end up paying the price, and we see that you did, but you escaped. Do you want to tell us how you were able to escape? Because that's always a good story.
Well, being a monkey, it's very easy to get around places. So I was able to maneuver my way around the job very, very simply. Snuck out a window, shimmied my way down, and found a whole bushel of bananas on the other side, and I've been enjoying them since. Been out
That's
in California with my bananas just hanging.
That's awesome, man. I'm curious. Most people run down to Mexico, but you're like, you know what? I'm good. I got these stunner glasses on. I'm showing people that I'm here. I'm not running, but also I'm like hiding at the same time. I kind of dig that.
Yeah, exactly. I figured if I went down to Mexico, that's where they go look for everyone.
That's
No one's
hey,
gonna
you know
expect to
what?
be chilling in
Yeah.
Cali.
What do they say? Hiding in plain sight.
Exactly.
That's kind of funny, man. So you're in the Bored Ape community, and I love that you have this really awesome narrative. Uh, I know we spoke recently that you just broke out. You just broke into the scene, right? What made you feel so compelled to jump into the Bored Ape community uh, so recently?
Well, I've actually been in the NFT space for quite some time, and I personally really enjoyed entering the space. But I've been noticing how a lot of projects try to emulate what Punks has been doing, and the only one that came close regarding the community, in my opinion, was Bored Ape Yacht Club. So when I realized they were the only ones truly emulating the best project, in my opinion, at the time, I figured if one was going to flip that project, it might be Bored Apes.
Yeah, that totally makes sense, man. And I asked that because I know when you break into the scene, at this current time, it's a lot more expensive than it was for me when I minted myself at like $300. Like my entry cost was much lower. So now I'm starting to ask people, why is it that they see this as a vessel? To put so much money on the line. And I appreciate the fact that you could say it's because it emulated something that you thought so highly of, and you thought this was the only one that had potential to resemble the CryptoPunks and maybe like become better than it in some ways because of the difference of us owning the IP. Do you have any IP art in your near future for your ape?
So that comment had a couple of brilliant points. One regarding the crypto punks. I looked at apes as everyone who entered crypto originally, their first opinion is, what's the next Bitcoin? Not that anything's ever going to replace Bitcoin, but everyone's first question is, what can I put my money into that'll be like Bitcoin? What's going to go up like Bitcoin did? And the answer is a lot of coins will, but nothing's going to replace Bitcoin.
Right.
So will I really replace the first, which I guess it really isn't, but the most popular NFT of all time? Most likely not. But does that not mean something will chase it? Of course it will. There will always be a number two and a number three. So I was trying to figure out what would either chase or flip it. And in this case, I thought it was apes. Reason being, as you said, the IP. And the IP with apes is so strong because you can literally build out. We can make a video with our two apes. We could put it on YouTube. We could monetize it. We could do all these different things. Where if you started doing that with your punk, Larva Labs may let you do it because it's giving them great exposure, but legally you're not allowed to.
Interesting.
So if you start profiting, you run into a lot of legal dilemmas, ones that haven't even been explored yet, regarding the IP.
Right.
Who owns the right to the image that you own? If you own the NFT, shouldn't you own the right to the image behind it? Well, that's the whole theory behind NFTs, I thought. When you buy a painting, you own the painting. But in some instances, you don't own that IP. And if you don't own the IP, you're kind of getting screwed because you can't profit off of anything that your ape or your punk or your NFT is in the future.
Right. It ends up being like you're just a Patreon for that artist, giving them a tip essentially, and they're giving you like a really nice, fancy, postcard is what it seems like to a degree. Like something that's like, here, they could turn it out. It's really nothing off of their back. But that's what the difference between a project that lets you use their IP and doesn't. And I think that's why the projects that have been coming out lately that I've been seeing that are selling us on the fact that like, hey, we can use this IP, those are the ones that get me the most excited. Because right off the bat, people may or may not realize that is tremendous utility. Because now you have a character that you can build out and do whatever you want with. Like we're doing here on The Boring Show.
100%. Like that is exactly it because, like you said, it's a postcard. Whether it's a postcard or a small painting, you can't monetize it besides the resellability of it. And with IP, you can monetize it into perpetuity.
Exactly. And I think that it's just a matter of time before we see big companies come in with gigantic marketing budgets and scoop up two or three apes. Because now, if you think of like Tony the Tiger back in the day, right? How cool would it be if just like some random guy had drawn that and then some random person owned that and then Kellogg's had to pay that person to use Tony the Tiger. Like that was the whole idea behind Gary Vee and the V Friends, I thought, was like he wanted to license Tony the Tiger and that was too expensive. He's like, you know what? I'll just create my own avatar and that's it. I'll leverage that licensing that I own and I'll blow this up. And it's interesting to see how projects are going forward. So what other projects are you looking at that might be interesting to people on the horizon that might just not know about? What do you got looking at? What are you looking at?
I'm looking at projects that are changing the NFT space. So as the NFT evolves from basically being a money grab from 6 months ago into being something legitimate now, I'm trying to focus on projects that are emulating the aspects that work in other projects and getting rid of the stuff that doesn't work. So we're seeing a lot of issues with gas. We're seeing a lot of issues with being on one chain versus the other. So right now I'm exploring, I don't know if I can even mention it yet because it's not so publicly launched.
Yeah, if you can't secure, so this is the number one rule, guys. You secure the bag first, then share the information with people.
No, bag's secured. They're just the project's not live yet, and I'm helping them with it. So I don't know if I can mention that yet.
All
okay,
right.
I'm not gonna mention that
Yeah.
one. But regarding other stuff, I'm looking at communities. Communities drive growth. So this whole penguin rivalry that's going on right now, I think it's great. I think it's great for all the penguin communities. My issue is I don't want what happened to crypto regarding the dog coins to happen in the NFT space.
Sure.
We don't need 37 different versions of punks. We don't need baby punks and baby fast food punks and even fast food punks. We have punks. Just like we didn't need 55 forks of Bitcoin. So there can be alternative projects to punks like apes or like these yielding projects or these NFT crossbreeding projects. But what I don't think it needs is 50 deviations of the same project. And that's what we're starting to see because now it's a money grab. Now these developers realize, well, we sell 10,000 at 0.1, we're making, holy shit, we're making 1,000 ETH. We're making $3 million, and all we're doing is having an algorithm put different images on top of each other.
Yeah, so I mean, like, we think we'll pivot real quick to like what's happening in the right now, right? with, let's
Mhm.
say, the Fame Ladies Squad and that whole chaotic fiasco. And I think that speaks to your point of like there can be too many sometimes, and then people also understand how to take advantage of the system, right? So that was the
Bingo.
beginning of these like female empowerment NFTs. As far as I knew, that was like the biggest one that I had seen come onto my radar that was brought to me by my girlfriend. She saw it, connected,
That's
right?
awesome.
And I minted 18 because I wanted to support the vision. It made sense. Then you see Queenship come out. You see these other NFT projects come out that are all aimed around women, but none of the women promoting the project are making themselves visible. And it starts to make you wonder, is this that type of character who's taking advantage and knows how to just run an algorithm and realizes, yo, that's $3 million easy in my pocket. All I gotta do is just pretend I'm a girl for a few days. It's unfortunate, but this is what's happening. So now you start to wonder going forward, like, do you have to declare everything? Are you not allowed to have any privacy? Or is it just you're going to assume that there's just bad characters on the other end? It's a
I think you have
very.
to always assume there's bad characters, but I think the projects with teams that are, I've always believed in teams being forthcoming. I know crypto's about anonymity and the ability to move funds all around the world and everything crypto stands for. I get that. But I think when you start a project and you're expecting people to trust you with millions, if not billions of dollars, then you need to be a public figure. And I don't mean like a celebrity. I mean, you just need to be public with whom you are. So if people want to know his background or her background, it's an easy find. In most instances, it's not. These people are emojis on a computer screen with a description under them where we don't know if the description's real and we know the emoji's not representative of the person. So I like teams that are public and I like teams that are willing to show their face because you really know who's behind the project in that sense.
Absolutely. And since you've been a long term crypto trader, I just want to ask you, like, how many similarities do you think you see between those 2016, 17 ICO craze with all these NFT new projects coming up? I think they're very similar in that a lot of them are going to fail. They're all just grabbing cash because it's too easy. And then there's going to be some who actually use that cash and develop some world changing technology or just really cool social platform. Do you think that's kind of true to what you remember?
I think you're spot on. I think that also applies though to every single not fad, but every single niche run we've seen, like small bull markets we've seen in the crypto space. As it stood, I've watched DeFi explode and come all the way back down. I've watched staking. I've watched yield generating platforms. I've watched privacy coins. There's been like 5 or 6 different major fads.
That's a very good point.
Masternodes,
Yeah.
like literally masternodes. I did a project with masternodes 3 years ago. Literally, it's the same thing as staking. 6 months ago, staking was the hottest thing, but masternodes completely fell apart. They literally are the same thing, but one lets you vote. Why wouldn't you want the ability to vote? And now everyone's on Ethereum staking. So literally, these hype phases come and go in the crypto space from literally everything from masternodes to privacy coins to DeFi to now we're on NFTs. Will the hype phase end? 100% yes. Are there going to be a lot of people left holding bags? 100% yes. But at the same time, will there be 2, 3, 10 projects that survive the hype phase and the next bear market that really come to fruition? Of course. And so the goal is finding those. And I think a lot of those have already started to show themselves. One being punks. They've survived 3 years. Second being apes. We're here discussing them. They've driven an entire community of people behind them. We're talking tens of thousands of people. People who don't even own apes are trying to be in the community. So 100% these some NFTs will survive moving forward. But like in any business, 90% will fall off.
The competition is definitely what creates the winning projects at the end of it. You're going to see who can stand up and stand tall at the end of it, and that's very well said, man. Uh, Jailbird, I appreciate your time. I know you always got to keep on the move just because you never know who's lurking and watching. But you have any final words for our audience before we take off for the day?
Make sure you enjoy the NFTs you're collecting. I didn't get into apes because I thought they'd be the best project in the world. I thought they'd be a great secondary investment to what was an up and coming NFT space. But I picked apes over many other projects that could similarly be on the same level because I loved what they stood for. I loved the community. So find a community you feel a part of, find a NFT you like the image of, and jump in, take some risks.
I love it, man. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. Everyone out there, go ahead and make sure you look at theboringshow.io. All of our episodes are listed there, so you can check out all of our previous content. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, thanks a lot, Jailbird. We're out.